TSA has quietly added something new to their banned list in 2025, and almost nobody knows about it yet. The scariest part? You might already be carrying it, and if you are, TSA will stop you on the spot. Even seasoned travelers are getting pulled aside, confused and embarrassed, simply because they didn't hear about this silent new rule. Before your next flight, you need to know what it is, because one tiny mistake could ruin your entire trip. Part 1. The innocent item that's now banned. You toss it into your carry-on without thinking. It's tiny, harmless, something you've flown with a dozen times before. But in 2025, it quietly became a red flag item, and most travelers have no idea. We are talking about certain lithium battery packs and smart devices that are now on TSA's hidden watch list. Why? Because after multiple near-fire incidents inside overhead bins last year, TSA classified high-capacity, non-compliant power banks as potential flight hazards. Here's the trap. They look exactly like normal chargers. No warning labels. No alarms at the store. But when your bag goes through the X-ray, a sharp-eyed officer can spot their shape instantly. Suddenly, you hear it. "Sir, please step aside." Your bag gets pulled. A second officer arrives. Now passengers behind you are staring while they unzip every corner of your luggage. And when they find that sleek black power bank you bought online, it's confiscated on the spot. No refund, no warning, just gone. Even worse, getting caught with one can trigger a full secondary screening, delaying your entire trip. It doesn't matter if you didn't know the rule changed, TSA sees only a safety threat. That's why even frequent flyers are being stopped and stunned, wondering what they did wrong. Part 2. The hidden liquids. Trap. You might think you're safe as long as you follow the 311 rule for liquids, but in 2025, TSA started cracking down harder on hidden or disguised liquids, and it's catching even veteran travelers off guard. Here's how it happens. Maybe you pack a refillable perfume atomizer, a fancy metal water flask, or a skincare product inside an unmarked container. It's small, sealed, and under the limit, so it should be fine, right? Not anymore. New scanning tech now highlights liquid density, not just volume. So if something shows up as an unknown liquid mass on the X-ray, your bag is instantly flagged. An officer quietly marks your bin with a colored card. By the time you reach the end of the belt, they're already waiting. "Ma'am, we need to check your bag." The moment they find that mystery bottle or container, everything stops. They'll swab it for explosives, analyze the contents, and sometimes even confiscate it outright, even if it's just lotion or essential oil. And here's the part nobody tells you. Once your bag gets flagged for liquids, it often triggers a manual bag search for every single item you packed. Now you're standing there, stressed and exposed, while strangers watch your belongings get unpacked piece by piece. The irony? You weren't breaking any rules. You just didn't know how strictly TSA now enforces them. Part 3. The suspicious electronics cluster. You probably think TSA only cares if your electronics are switched on or not. But in 2025, their focus shifted to how you pack them. And this subtle change is stopping even experienced travelers. Here's the trap. When you stack multiple electronic items tightly together, like your phone, tablet, headphones, camera batteries, chargers, and cables all crammed in one pouch, the new CT scanners read it as a dense, unidentifiable block. To you, it's just smart packing. To TSA, it can look like someone hiding a device or tampering with electronics. Their training flags any clustered tech mass as a potential bomb concealment method. And once your bag shows that pattern, you don't get a warning. You get pulled. Suddenly, you hear your name called. Officers are sliding on gloves. Your bag is lifted off the belt and set aside on the cold metal inspection table. They unzip it slowly, separating every cord, battery, and gadget in front of everyone. You're standing there trying to explain, heart racing, as they test your electronics for residue. The passengers who were behind you are now walking past, staring. It's humiliating, time-consuming, and worst of all, it's totally preventable. Because in TSA's eyes, a tidy electronics cluster can look like a hidden threat. Spread them out, or risk being stopped like hundreds of others who thought they were just being organized. Part 4. The overpacked carry-on. Red flag. Most travelers think as long as their bag fits in the overhead bin, it's fine. But in 2025, TSA has quietly started flagging overstuffed or bulging carry-ons as a potential security risk, and it's catching people by surprise. Why? Because an overpacked bag makes it almost impossible for their scanners to get a clear view of what's inside. When everything is crammed tightly together, the X-ray can't separate items visually, and that instantly raises suspicion. Picture this. You've sat on your bag just to zip it shut. Clothes are tightly compressed, shoes are wedged sideways, and snacks are tucked into every corner. It all fits, barely. But the scanner only shows a dark, dense blob of materials. To TSA, that's a red flag for possible item concealment or contraband smuggling. And once your bag gets flagged, it's game over for your quick security pass. A TSA officer quietly lifts it off the belt, places it on the secondary inspection table, and begins unpacking it piece by piece. You're now standing there, panicking, as they pull out your personal belongings for the whole line to see. Socks, underwear, everything, exposed. All because you didn't realize that in 2025, overpacking isn't just inconvenient. It looks suspicious. Travelers who used to breeze through are now being stopped and delayed simply because their bag was too full to scan properly. Part 5. The Forgotten Pocket. Surprise. This one is embarrassing because it happens to even the most seasoned flyers, and it's getting way more serious in 2025. TSA has become hyper-focused on hidden compartments, secret zippers, and forgotten pockets inside carry-ons, backpacks, and jackets. You might think your bag is clean, but all it takes is one overlooked item buried deep in a side pouch to set off a full security stop. Here's how it plays out. You're rushing through packing at midnight. Maybe you toss in gum, coins, or an old charger in a side pocket months ago and forget it exists. At the airport, your bag rolls through the scanner and then stops. A TSA agent frowns, leans in toward the screen, and marks your bin. You watch as your bag gets pulled aside, again. They open every zipper, every flap, searching for the object the scanner caught. And then they find it. Maybe it's a lighter, a pair of nail scissors, or a tiny multi-tool you didn't even remember owning. Suddenly, what seemed like an innocent mistake is treated as a potential security breach. Now your name is logged, the item is confiscated, and your belongings are dumped out for everyone to see. The truth is, TSA's new tech is trained to detect even tiny hidden items, and in 2025, one forgotten pocket is enough to get you stopped cold. Part 6. The Metal Trace Mystery. This one sends chills down travelers' spines because it happens when you think you've done everything right, and yet you still get pulled aside. In 2025, TSA's explosive trace detectors became so sensitive they can now detect microscopic metal or chemical residue on your belongings, even if you didn't pack anything suspicious. And it's been shocking frequent flyers who suddenly find themselves treated like high-risk passengers. Here's how it unfolds. Your bag clears the X-ray, but a TSA officer quietly pulls it off the belt. They run a small white swab across your zipper, your handles, maybe your laptop case. You're confused. Nothing in your bag is metal heavy or dangerous. But when they insert the swab into the detection machine, it beeps. Now alarms flash on the screen, and everything stops. You're escorted to the side as agents whisper and put on gloves. The reason? The machine picked up trace particles of certain metals or nitrates. It could be from coins, sparkler residue from a celebration, or even dust from a workshop you passed through days earlier. But to TSA, it's a possible bomb-making material. Your bag is now completely unpacked and searched, while you stand frozen under the stares of the entire security line, punished for something invisible you never knew was there. Part 7. The Sudden Silence Signal. This one catches travelers completely off guard because it's not about what you do. It's about what you stop doing. TSA behavior detection officers are trained to spot abrupt shifts in demeanor, especially right as you approach the checkpoint. You could be laughing with a friend, chatting on the phone, or humming to yourself in line. But the second you near the metal detector, you go quiet. You stiffen. You clutch your bag tighter. To you, it's just focus. But to them, it's a red flag. They call it the freeze moment. It's the instant your brain goes from casual traveler to nervous performer, and officers are trained to watch for it like hawks. Picture it. You're mid-conversation, but as you step up to the conveyor belt, you suddenly stop talking, your eyes dart down, your body tenses. In their training, that's the posture of someone mentally rehearsing a cover story or worrying about being caught. And the scariest part? Even if you're completely innocent, this natural human response can paint you as suspicious. In a flash, a uniformed agent signals for a secondary screening. Suddenly, your bag is being opened, your hands are being swabbed, and the line behind you is watching. All because your silence spoke louder than words. Part 8. The odd item. Mystery trigger. Sometimes you don't have to act suspicious at all. Your stuff does it for you. TSA's X-ray machines don't just scan for banned items, they scan for patterns. And when something doesn't fit the pattern of normal traveler luggage, alarms quietly go off, not beeping alarms, but human ones in the minds of trained officers. It could be something totally innocent, an unusually heavy book, a dense block-shaped item in your carry-on, or a mess of tangled cables and loose batteries stuffed in a corner pocket. To you, it's just travel gear. To them, it's an anomaly. Officers are taught that smugglers often hide contraband inside ordinary objects. And the stranger the item looks on the screen, the more suspicious it becomes. Imagine this. Your bag slides through the scanner, and the agent tilts their head. There's a solid dark square near your folded shirts, or a cluster of wires that looks like it's been tucked away deliberately. They don't know what it is, and that uncertainty is enough to escalate you to secondary inspection. Suddenly your bag is opened in front of everyone. Items are spread across the table, swabbed for residue, and questioned piece by piece. You were not breaking a single rule, but one oddly shaped item made your entire bag look like a mystery box. Part 9. The mismatch behavior trap. Here's a red flag that most travelers never even think about, because it is not just about you, it's about who you're with. TSA agents are trained to study pairs and groups moving through security, looking for what they call behavioral disconnects. Picture this. You and a friend are traveling together. You're calm, smiling, making small talk, but your friend looks tense, avoids eye contact, and walks stiffly beside you. To a trained officer, that mismatch screams coordinated smuggling or hidden agenda. They expect people traveling together to sync naturally, mirroring each other's tone, pace, and mood. When they don't, it sparks suspicion instantly, and they won't just let it slide. TSA officers may quietly split you up at the checkpoint, asking casual questions that are anything but casual. Where are you headed? How long have you known each other? If your answers don't match, even by small details, you've just escalated the situation. Suddenly, both of you are pulled aside, your luggage searched, and your boarding time ticking closer and closer. The scary part? One person could just be nervous about flying, and the other might not notice at all. But to TSA, that disconnect can look like a cover-up. And once they suspect you're hiding something as a team, getting through security becomes a whole different battle. Before you rush off to pack your bags, here's something you absolutely can't miss. Because while getting through security is one battle, what happens after you board could change your entire journey, especially if you are 70 or older. Most travelers have no idea that airlines secretly offer a long list of free perks, upgrades, and hidden benefits just for seniors. But they'll never tell you unless you know exactly what to ask for. And trust me, these aren't tiny perks. We're talking about priority boarding, bonus miles, free seat upgrades, even complimentary meals and lounge access that most younger passengers pay hundreds for. So if you want to make your next flight easier, cheaper, and way more comfortable, click the video on your screen right now, because it reveals 25 hidden airline perks seniors should always ask for. Your future self at 30,000 feet will thank you.